Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. High-tech Vasyl Lomachenko returns to face Jason Sosa, WBA champion. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, all that good stuff. Now, Vasyl Lomachenko, I've rated him for quite some times. In fact, I picked him to beat Nicholas Walters. I did a 7 reasons why Vasyl Lomachenko would defeat Nicholas Walters. A lot of people will disagree with that. Go back, look at the video, look at the comments. In hindsight, they're going to say, oh, I knew it was going to happen. But a lot of people are picking Walters. I do think that the inactivity and Top Rank starving him out hurt him, because you don't go in there with a guy like Lomachenko after you ballooned up in weight and you took a long layoff. I think that does hurt. Not saying that he would have beat him if he had been more active, but I do think he would at least looked a little bit better. Like, he didn't win one round, you know what I'm saying? So fast forward to the future. April 8th in Maryland, Lomachenko, who is a new champion at the division, or newer, he's had one title defense against Nicholas Walters. He's fighting a Nicholas Walters mutual opponent, and that's Jason Sosa, who's the WBA champion. And I think this is a good fight. It's going to be on regular HBO. And Lomachenko is a beast. He's in very few fights. I understand he stayed in the amateurs long. He's a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, so he carries in a lot of professional, or he carries in a lot of amateur experience in transition to the pros. He's about to go through a birthday, so he's a little bit older than you would think, than most people would think, because he stayed in the amateurs so long. He's 28 and he's about to be 29, so you would expect more. But the thing I like about Lomachenko is the man has less than 10 fights. He has like 8 fights, and you can easily argue, I don't even think it's an argument, but he has better names on his resume than like let's say a Gennady Golovkin, who's 34 with way more fights than him as a pro. He has, again, Lomachenko has less than 10 fights, and after he fights Jason Sosa, if he beats him, which he should be favored to beat him, he could say he fought Jason Sosa, a champion, Nicholas Walters, a former champion, and a guy who knocked out Donaire, something no one had done, knocked out Vic Darchinyan in brutal fashion, and he fought against Orlando Salido, came up short, nearly stopped Salido in the 12th round, and he beat a guy who was going to go to the Olympics, who is now a WBC champion at featherweight, and that's Gary Russell Jr. I mean, those are some solid names. Now, Jason Sosa, he became a champion after he lost to Nicholas Walters. He has power, tough Philly dude, spars with my dude Tevin Farmer, and I think it's a good fight. I think it's a solid fight, and it shows that Lomachenko, he's really confident in his ability. Him and his team, they're willing to fight anyone, and I like how he's mixing them up, fighting different styles. Like Nicholas Walters, a bit taller, a good boxer puncher. I would say Jason Sosa is a big puncher, but he's more of a brawler. Is not necessarily the finesse, is more rugged. Then you have Rocky Martinez, who's maybe in between like what a Walters and a Sosa does, and Gary Russell Jr., a guy with speed. So he's giving you different options to see him. Orlando Salido is like just a dog, a veteran with a good resume, come forward, kind of one-dimensional but very rugged, borderline fought dirty, came overweight and like real big and stuff like that. So guys like Lomachenko, they get to show you like, hey, I'm one of the best. And if he stays on this trend, you're gonna have to start putting him, if he's not already there, you're gonna have to start putting him on the pound for pound list, because if he keeps beating these guys, he's showing you, and there's nothing else. He's showing the different styles. This is kind of similar. Obviously, he's not anywhere remotely close to what Floyd Mayweather's accomplished, but I think Floyd is in the same vein. Even if you look at like a Pacquiao rematched like 4 dudes 12 times, 12 or 13 fights with the same 4 people. Mayweather keeps showing you, fought Castillo. You guys didn't like that and thought I lost. Then he rematched him the same year. Oh, you thought I lost to Maidana, a guy who's big, rugged, unorthodox. I rematched him same year. He's fighting the Ricky Hattons when he was undefeated. Victor Ortiz, a southpaw who was big, beat Berto. He's fighting guys like Cotto, just an all-around Hall of Famer. Canelo, Pacquiao. These guys are all different. Zab Judah, southpaw with speed. So I like when fighters mix it up. If you continually fight the style that benefits you, and I think Pacquiao has done that in recent memory. He's been fighting guys who don't really have the attributes that have given him a ton of problems. Like a Terrence Crawford, I'm not saying that Pacquiao couldn't beat Crawford, but stylistically, Crawford exudes more of the traits and the talents that has given Pacquiao problems. A guy who can be a pure boxer, a guy who's tall, longer arms than him, who's swift, who can adapt and switch to southpaw. But we're not getting that. We're getting Jesse Vargas and Brandon Rios and Chris Algieri. You know what I mean? It's not the same. But I can't say that with Lomachenko. Dude's a beast. He's fighting whoever. And I think Jason Sosa is a good fight because it's a different style. I mean, this is just my opinion. Even though I do think Nicholas Walters beat Jason Sosa, I thought the draw was a bullshit call by the judges. But the thing that I do like and respect about Jason Sosa is he's the type that I feel he'll probably have a better performance than Nicholas Walters. I don't know what was up with Walters, but Jason Sosa being a tough, rugged guy, he steps in as the underdog in many of his fights, and he wins some of them. He was the underdog not only with Nicholas Walters, and I don't think it was a draw, but I mean, he was still the underdog, and he put up a good fight. Like Nicholas Walters, people thought he was going to blow him out of the way, like out of the water, but he stepped in as the underdog again versus Javier Fortuna in China, and he pulled the upset, and that's where he became WBA champion. He had a war with like Steven Smith, so it's a solid fight, first of the year for Lomachenko, and it's a championship fight, so there really can't be any complaints. It's unification. The WBO belt, I think, is what Vasyl Lomachenko has, and Jason Sosa, he's a tough Philly kid, and he's a WBA champion. So I told you guys, for me, I'm not really against unifications under most circumstances, unless it was just like a paper champion, or you know what I mean. But you look, if you do your homework, Jason Sosa, he gets good sparring. Like I said, Tevin Farmer is an up and comer. Tevin Farmer spars with Vasyl Lomachenko, and that's a repeat. They're friends and sparring partners, and that's Jason Sosa and Tevin Farmer. So he gets good work. He's been in there with even guys like Jerry Belmontes. He lost a split decision to Omar Figueroa. I think that was the fight where I had Belmontes winning, and they just didn't give him the fight. And then Jason Sosa comes back after that point and knocks him out. So between Javier Fortuna, Belmontes, a rugged fight with Nicholas Walters, Steven Smith, you got to put Jason Sosa up there as almost as best in the division as you can. Mayweather already says we're gonna move Tank at the right speed. Vasyl Lomachenko, he's over there with Top Rank. We're not worried about him. So Mayweather already made it clear that that's not on their radar right now. They're going to build their champion, which is a smart thing. You don't want to... Tank's my dude. I just talked to him in LA, got his phone number and everything. And you don't want to rush your fighter and put him in with the guy who's clearly seasoned when you don't have to. When there's you just did your tough step up, have a homecoming fight, build your confidence, keep working on your style, and then you make that match. And then that's when it makes sense to me. But... again, props to Team Lomachenko for taking on tough fights. I think this should be a good fight because, if anything, Jason Sosa is probably closer to Orlando Salido than Nicholas Walters in terms of just rugged guy with heart and is going to come forward. And obviously that's the style that has beaten Lomachenko as his only pro loss, and that was Orlando Salido. So I think at the very least, obviously, the when it comes to pure talent, technique, finesse, Lomachenko is clearly the favorite, but it'll be good to see him in there if he's not going to fight Salido in a rematch for whatever reason. They can't get the money right. See him in there with a guy who has at least a similar style to Salido, power, and is going to come forward, and we'll see what he does. So I'm not sleeping on Jason Sosa. Obviously, it's an uphill battle for anybody to beat Lomachenko because it looks like he's the man, but it's a solid fight. Regular HBO, no pay-per-view. Let's see what else they do with the card. Shout out to Lomachenko. Shout out to Jason Sosa. It just goes to show you he's willing to fight anybody. He was in talks to fight Tank Davis. That fight fell apart for whatever reason. And then Tank Davis and team went the Pedraza route. And it was smart because they won. So I'm looking forward to all this weight division is 130 is getting interesting. Because if Lomachenko stays on this trend, he's going to only have a few other people to fight that even means anything, like Gervonta Davis or Orlando Salido rematch, Berchelt or whoever, and he just kind of threw shots at him like I'm coming on his Instagram recently. So now Jason Sosa is like the first step in that puzzle. If you beat him, you take his belt, then start working towards Berchelt, who's now a WBC champion, or the IBF champion, Gervonta Tank Davis. And then after that, maybe you fight a Pacquiao or a Crawford or Robert Easter or Mikey Garcia or somebody at 35. So let me know what you guys think. Props to Sosa and Lomachenko. Should be a good fight. Drop it in the comment section. How does this play out? Are you giving Jason Sosa a chance? Make sure you share the video, like the video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.